And then Maestra said, I think we're good to get started. You're muted.
Gracias. I'm telling you.
Muy alegre allí.
Súper alegre, contenta. Buenos días a todos. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the LA Indigenous Peoples Alliance, the Xenachli Rites of Passage, and the Astlanahuac Cultural Embassy event. Today we're celebrating, 3 decades of our work of making sure that, little brown babies in our schools and our communities are proud of where they come from. That's what we want. We want children to have a healthy self-esteem. We want our children to know that they're not better than anyone else, but we want them to know that no one is better than them. We are all equal. And so for many of us that do the character development work, a lot of us that do the male involvement, fatherhood programming, we do Xenachli with the girls, and gender-specific leadership development within a cultural Indigenous context. Our work is to have as many tools on our tool belt to be able to help the young people. So my job is to share with you the tools that have helped me. And yesterday we had a fantastic day. My Maestra Martha, is a jewel in our community. I am so proud to introduce so many of you to her and to her knowledge, and just know that she's a major resource for us and available for teaching, and so thank you Maestra Martha for being with us. And so going back to character development, El Tonalpohualli has helped me to really begin to raise my children differently, to be able to understand my partner in a better way, in a deeper way. The Tonalpohualli has helped me to reach the young people in the community. I get girls together and we do our rain sticks, ¿verdad? And next thing you know, we're working on their Tonalpohualli, that, we're giving young people the language, descriptions, adjectives for them to begin to understand what parts of that needs to land, because it's all about self-understanding, self-knowledge. And that's what we want. We want these young people to know who they are, to have a a healthy sense of self-esteem, so they can move on and really accomplish any goal that they want. And so today I dedicate, the day to young people, especially our Xenachli, girls that, really were going through a tough time at home during COVID. The majority of our young people, our girls, were babysitting, were taking care of everyone else and not themselves. And, young people need our support. And so El Taller del Tonalpohualli is here to support them. They love it. They really love this workshop. And when I do this workshop, I want to have images and different stickers for them, so that way they can add it onto their rain stick. If they're like, oh, yo soy Cali, yo soy Casa, pues, I want to have a little image for them too. Either they can, color it or something and then cut it and then put it onto their rain stick, but make it personal, make it theirs. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make the Tonalpohualli very personal to you, and to really teach all of you, how to read it, how to bring it together, because it is like a puzzle, ¿verdad? It's very much influenced by the cosmos, which is made up of so many stars and just so many planets. It's made up of elements on the earth, and we got a billion of them. And so we got to figure out ways to be able to put them together. And so this is what is most exciting for me, is that today we get to see Maestra Marta do it, and we'll continue to deepen our practice. So con eso les doy las gracias a todos por regresar. One feedback that we do have is that if you can please, at times keep your camera on. It's really hard for someone to present for 3 hours and get no, feedback, reaction, faces, from anyone. And so it's really a humble request that, if you can, try to keep your camera on as much as you can. If there's spots that you can really dedicate it, mindfully to participate and engage. That way, Maestra also has, someone to talk to, because she's just looking at still pictures, ¿verdad? And for now, I will pass the palabra over to our beautiful Doctora Patti.
Perfect. Thank you. Let me just remove spotlight. Okay, so we just wanted to also invite you to um, kind of connect more with the Zoom. So for those of you who maybe when we spotlight and you only see the speaker, like it feels like you're not engaging, what you can do is also toggle with the view for the Zoom room. So if you go to your top right, and then if you press view, and you can go to either speaker, gallery, immersive, or full screen. We just want to honor the fact that, for some of us, we still may not know our way around Zoom. And so that's how you can change the view from seeing one person to seeing the whole group. Like right now, I just went back to gallery. And then if you want to see who's speaking, you can go to the speaker one, right? So with that said, we want to invite you to just honor your needs, but also to be present and give yourself whatever it is that you need to be here with us and with, Maestra Marta. So we honor your wisdom, Maestra. With that said, we wanted to also just share that if you are someone who maybe is interested in learning more about what she naturally writes of passages, we have sent out our website so you can learn more about it. But we also have an upcoming training that you can register for, and it's going to be in December in San Antonio, Texas. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get trained, I want to become a facilitator, we invite you to join us this upcoming December. We're so excited because we're going to be with one of our fiscal projects under LIPA, de Corazon. So I know we have some of the comadres here from the Corazon who will host us and be part of our community on in December. So we'll send you all the links just like you received via email. And so just know that you'll have all the information that we're sharing today. Any questions before we move on to just opening our space and our conocimiento? We'll give folks a minute. Also know that we have interpretation, and our wonderful interpreter Pedro will be interpreting in Spanish. So you can select the globe at the bottom of the Zoom toolbar that says interpretation, and you just have to click on the Spanish channel. Okay.
Ahora dilo en español.
Ahora en español. Si alguien necesita interpretación, puede ir a la barra acá abajo de Zoom, donde está el globo, y puede oprimir el canal de español. Y ahí tenemos nuestro intérprete que se llama Pedro. Muchas gracias, Pedro, por estar aquí con nosotros y por su trabajo en interpretar. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we just want to honor the beautiful full moon energy that we have today. And we want to open up our space. Yesterday, Maestra Marta opened up our container with a beautiful acknowledgement to the four directions. And so today we invite you to connect with the element that feels alive for you. And so whether it's earth, fire, air, or water, we invite you to bring something in your space that reminds you that this is sacred work, this is trabajo. So I know I see some people starting to build their fires for this work. Honor yourself and your intuition, and we promise that by the end of today, you're going to have more insight into the energy that will support you best, right? So we invite folks, if this feels good for you, you can close your eyes, shift, on your seat to become more comfortable. We're going to invite you to also activate the chispa in your corazon with your breath, our inner fire. So you can keep your eyes closed or leave them slightly open. And in this moment, we're going to breathe in and hold it for 2, 3, 4, and release for 3, 4. We're going to do this again 2 more times just to activate our chispa and our corazon. So again, we're going to breathe in and hold for 2, 3, 4, and release. We're going to do this one more time. What we're doing is we're breathing as a collective. We're breathing together. So we're going to breathe in and hold 2, 3, 4, and release. 2, 3, 4. Please move in the ways that feel good for your body. And as you take up space today and turn your cameras on, again, we just want to invite you to also honor your other needs, right? So you don't have to ask for permission for self-care. If you need to go get some water and come back, or your cafecito or your tecito, please honor yourself. So we're gonna go into our conocimiento, and so conocimiento is really an invitation for us to get to know each other. We are in a colectiva right now. If for those of you that are in a gallery view, you are seeing all of these you know energies that are here making up this container, this collective. And so, in the spirit of our values yesterday, where we invited folks to bring in respect, to bring in openness, and to bring in reciprocity. Reciprocity is what we will be doing in the conocimiento, where we're going to be exchanging energy. And so, the invitation, you're going to be put into breakout groups. We're going to play with Zoom and get a little fancy. So you're gonna be placed in breakout groups with 3 or 4 people, and you're gonna each have 2 minutes or so to share who you are, however you feel called to share that, where you're joining us from, and then we would love for you to process or reflect, what resonated with you from yesterday. For those of us who were here, what was it that Maestra Marta shared with us or that you heard, that really felt alive for you in your spirit and that you're excited about, or maybe that it brought new insights or maybe new questions, right? So we want you to be able to engage in this community to share that. And then for those of you who have a little bit more time to share, we invite you to share maybe what is one gift that you have that you are bringing to this work today, right? And so Maestra Sara shared with us, the Tonalpohualli work that we do with youth helps us and share with youth and with ourselves that we all have gifts, that we all have strengths that we bring, that our culture has so many beautiful gifts and strengths. And so in that spirit, our conocimiento is gonna help us uplift those within ourselves. So does everyone understand what we're sharing? We'll put it on the chat just so that you have access to it. And then also, please share your pronouns. We don't want to misgender folks. So, a pronoun is another way that folks can call on you without saying your name. So some folks may, choose or identify with the pronoun of her, of him, of they, of them. So please let us know, how you would like to be referred to. You can also add it to your name on the Zoom. So if you see my name, it tells you she, her, hers. So now you know that how you can refer to me. ¿Sale, vale? Okay, so name, pronouns, where you are joining us from. I'm just gonna put this. And then what resonated with you about the Tonalpohualli from, wisdom that Maestra shared. And then lastly, what is one gift that you're bringing to this work today? Okay. We will have 10 minutes for this conocimiento. Okay. And then we will not have interpretation, I think, available for this piece. Okay.
So someone can interpret in the room. If you can volunteer, that'd be awesome. And if not, we'll try our best.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna have let's see. I'm just fixing one person here. So all groups should have 4 people, with the exception of, let's see, of one group. It looks like it. Okay. Okay. We'll stop recording.
Okay. Oh, that was great. It's so nice to meet people.
I'm seeing people come back with all these smiles. Let's see. Hi, Armando. Do you want me to mute you or it feels good to see? Okay. However you would like. Oh, okay, so we can't hear you then, is what you're saying. No? Say something? Let me see if I can. Oh, yeah. I'm so sad. I love hearing you. What was that like? What was the conocimiento like for folks? If maybe 1 or 2 people can share.
I'm always enthusiastic to share, doctora.
Porfis.
I love my group. I want to meet them in person. No, it was just great I think our energy levels all like very similar. So we were all just very present, and it was beautiful just getting to know people's work and what they're doing. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Muchas gracias.
Yay. Anyone else? What was it like to connect? You can just unmute or you can write it on the chat. I see Luisana share. It was hard because my mic isn't working, but I was happy to connect and get a sense of where folks are coming from. Thank you. And we see a happy face también from Carlita.
Pues it was nice to introduce ourselves and pues see, get to know where everyone's coming from and why they're here, and how they're connected, through the Sinachi training and curriculum to try to deepen their understanding of these teachings. And so it was nice to hear from everyone and what their intention, is and why they're here today. So.
Oh, gracias, madre. Okay. Well, thank you for your beautiful shares, and we invite you, throughout this time together, please utilize the chat as well. We would love for folks to share, as you're processing things, or even just affirming, new insights, new knowledge, or maybe bringing in other resources and knowledge, because many of you bring in, a lot of learnings and teachings. As you have learned from your elders as well. So we just want to name that, and I'm going to pass the palabra to Maestra Sara. If there's anything else that you want to add before we move on to our beautiful work with Maestra Martha.
No, just completely happy that we got to do the breakout rooms. We wanted to try it yesterday, but I'm glad we got to do it today. So, muchísimas gracias. Please take care of yourself. Take as many notes as possible. We will eventually make the video available, but it won't happen right away. It's part of our Astanahuac collection of videos, because we have these amazing presenters, including Dr. Silvia here in the room with us today. And so we will get that to you. And then Maestra Martha did say she will share the PowerPoint with us. And so she's going to make sure, it's exactly how she wants to share it, and then get that to us, when she has a moment. Así que muchas gracias. Enjoy your day. And we should take a break, ¿verdad? In about half an hour or so, Maestra, but we'll follow Maestra Martha's lead on that. Y le paso la palabra a nuestra Maestra Martha. Gracias. Buenos días.
To Ani Sorachi, what does your heart say? ¿Cómo está, Piyali Piyali? I'm so thrilled to do the second part of our course. In this one, we are going to continue a little bit about the calendar systems. We talked a lot about the Tonalpohualli, and now we're going to go into the Tonalpohualli and Tonalpohualli. And I just thank you. I want to say what a beautiful way to begin our work together, getting to know a little bit about other people, and feeling for me that this is something that I was planted on earth to do. I feel very happy, joyful of this experience of passing on, and of acknowledging in myself my own Tonalpohualli, my own reason to be here. So, and I hope that happens to you too. The more you learn, the more you discover little aspects of yourself. You say, oh yeah, that's who I am. That looks like me. It sounds like me. And it's beautiful that it comes from this ancient tradition. So we opened with our 4 directions. But I just wanted to say that I have my cempasúchil with me, because they are my ancestors. They remind me of my ancestors, and in each little petal gives birth to another one, and it's like a familia. It's like a little. That's why cempasúchil is so much part of our human existence, and the scent is absolutely beautiful. It is deep and it goes into our hearts. So I have them here as my ancestors, reminding me to speak with the truth, to speak with your heart. Okay, so I'm going to continue. I just want to show you this image because I wasn't able to talk about it, but now I think it's important, because here we see a glyph that I want us to learn how to draw. And it's the glyph of year. It means a year. And why? Because it's an arrow, a flecha. It's a ray. It means a sun ray. But since it has a little ring around it, remember I said in the last talk that when you amarras, when you tie something, it means that it's a period of time. So it's a period of a moment in which we are born. So in this case, it's an astronomer from Xochicalco, and observing how the sun appears. I don't know if you've ever had that experience of going to Xochicalco in the morning of the summer solstice. So it comes out exactly where the pyramid is, the pyramid. And so he has his Nepohualcinsin, which is like a computer of that time. And he's recording on his beautiful painted books, his Amochtli, that date. So this is something that I pass on to you too, that we can actually, you don't have to be like a super great artist to do this, but you can begin to write your own calendar, your own Amochtli. And just as I thought that it was something that I would like to share with you last time, that I showed you how I painted on an amate paper. Amate is such a beautiful, it has such a beautiful feeling. It's a paper with bark, made out of the bark. And but you can do it on, you know, in a painting, or on a little book that you can save, and for all your familia, for all your family, and then record the important things that happen each year. And then it'll be more meaningful if you put it into practice. So what did you do in this year in Tochtli Chicome, or what did you do in Acatl Ome? What did you do in this year? And that's a little bit of how we can begin to learn and recognize the influence that our ancestors gave us. So I hope you're ready and excited. We're going to have a little personal time at the end of our work together, with all respect of, you know, we want to have it as respectful for everyone, because it's something very personal. So that's what it's going to be, a one-on-one basis with those who wish to do that. But I will go through the whole interpretation process, and also how to draw it with everyone. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so we can continue with the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Tonalpohualli. The Tonalpohualli, it's the count of 1 year, 1 year. So instead of having 12 months, like we know, the Gregorian year, this one has 18 months. But these 18 months are divided into 20 days. And remember, those 20 days are the ones that we talked about. And I won't go through them, but remember, it starts with Zipacli, Hecatecali, and goes all the way over to Xochitl. So each one has that energy of that day. And so if you go to your veintena, when you have your veintena, this is where you can find in the Gregorian calendar, and this is one of the suggestions here, that because they're different in different calendars and different correlations, but you can see how each one coincides with a certain veintena. And this, or also you can see, for example, we have times when it's devoted to the dead. And so one of the importance of this Tonalpohualli calendar is that when the Spaniards came, for example, in the Day of the Dead, they found that it was similar, the dates that they were having the festivities of the Day of the Dead, because there was about 7 different veintenas, or periods of 20 days that coincided with Day of the Dead. But the most important one, Quecholi, they found was one of the most powerful rituals that they would have for the Day of the Dead. And so, because it wasn't a day, because it was a veintena. And And on the other hand, with the Spaniards, when they came, they brought in the liturgy of the Catholic Church, and they had All Saints' Day at that time. And so because of that, that way of overlapping, it became and declared by the UNESCO, the United Nations, in 2003 as one of the most important heritage gifts that we give to humanity as the Day of the Dead. So it's an important aspect that will help us also find that relation with the ancestral world just by knowing more or less when they are. And also because you can see, for example, these last veintenas, let's say November, December, January, and the first ones, February, are cold. So they have to do with the weather. They have to do with how were you born in where it snows or where it's very cold, and you can understand that also in your, let's say, astrological chart, it makes a difference than if you're born in some place where it's very warm. And so these are like May, Sacualisli, Tecuilvitontli, Tecuilhuitl. I'll go over them so that you repeat if you want, if you want to see what they sound like. This is Nahuatl, of course. Atlacahualo, Tlacaxipehualistli, Tosostotli, Hueitosostli, Toxcatl, Etzalcualistli, Tecuilhuitontli, Hueitecuilhuit, Tlaxochimaco, Xocothuetzi, Ochpanisli, Teotleco, Tepeilhuic, Quecholi, Panquetzalistli, Atemostli, Tititl, Iscali. And these are all recorded in the annals of the Freres as all of the celebrations that happened, everything that happened. Of course, the Freres put a lot of emphasis on all the sacrifices, the human sacrifices issue. But at the time of the conquest, that was a whole worldview. And we would have to go into a whole explanation of why they were important. But also, if you can go into the internet and find, okay, Atlacahualo, and then you'll see what the rituals were. And maybe some of those aspects of the ritual, like in some of them, it was like as pulling the hair of the children so that they would grow. There's others, of course, for the Day of the Dead, there's a whole, amount of information as what they did. Or and others, they would go to the rivers and bring barro, they would bring clay over to the household. And all of these, I always say that we can begin to connect with our Tonalpohualli by doing something that has to do with the ancient glyphs, with the ancient times. So as you can see, this is a representation of how they would divide this year, and its importance is, I think, that we can actually know more or less when it happens. So we can see that also this it's not only Quecholi, but Tlaxochimaco, Xocothuetzi, Oshpanisli, they all are in the summer, and they begin to grow the flowers for the Day of the Dead. They begin to grow the cempasúchil. So all of this, and remember, it's one that is based on agriculture. It's an agricultural calendar that has to do with when they would prepare the land, when they would harvest the land, principally. And also we can understand why instead of having, like in the Gregorian calendar, we have January 1st as the first day, when everybody is really cold in most places and kind of sluggish and kind of lazy, and it's just, you know, doesn't feel like in the nature, it doesn't feel like the beginning. However, in February, March, when it begins a little bit warmer, and everybody and all the animals are multiplying, and everybody is like more awake, that's the beginning. And it'll go all the way to when it's cold again. So that's kind of the end. So just, you know, I just wanted to offer you that that idea. But you can add this. And I also like this image because you really don't see, like we see in the Xiuhpohualli and the Tonalpohualli images, we don't see them represented they're very complex. The glyphs that we have for each one of these 18 ventenas, 20 periods. But here you can see that there are some, and you can actually, if you're going to do a drawing or a painting or something, you can try, and I'm gonna pass on this video, this PowerPoint, so that you can look at it with time. Now 20, I love this to explain about the 20, and I have my cempasúchil here, because how can it relate to us and how we can learn and teach it to our children, which I do, and it's a lot of fun. And it's the numbers from 1 to 20, and how you learn them, and how you can give it intention in your life process, because it's not only numbers, it's also phases. The basis of this the system is the first 4 are developing, and the 5th number is actually completing that first part. So it's se is cently, it's corn, it's the first essence, the first medicine, cently, se. Then ome is omitl, the bone, the structure, the bone structure, ome. So we have the essence. We are corn. We are made of corn, our essence. And then to that masa, we give it a skeleton. We give it a structure so that now it's firm. That it's not all over the place. It's holding on to your bone structure. So that's ome. Then ye or eyi, we think of yesli, the blood that's going to go around your body and give it movement, give it warmth with the heart going around. So we have se, ome, eyi. Now we have nawi. Nawi is the skin, la piel, the skin that goes around that first essence and gives it a cover, So we now have this whole essence of, with our bone structure, our blood, now we're contained. Now we understand. Now we are contained. We are in this process, we are one. And then the fifth one is, you can see in the hand how it's different. So we have 1, 2, Se, Ome, Ye, Nawi, and Makwili. When Makwili is born in the process, now we can grasp and go to another place and do something else. So we have Se, Ome, Ye, Nawi, Makwili. So this is the first process, the first, and we can think about it as the first moment of creation of something, of anything. Say you're writing a book. So the first thing is the essence of the book. Then we give it a structure, chapters or whatever. Then we think of how we're going to tell the story and what we're going to do with it. And we begin to talk about it and we tell other people about it. And then we make it move. And then finally, we give it a great cover. The whole book is done. But now we have to begin to move it, to take it to another level. So apply this idea of, even though we're talking about numbers, we're talking about other things, but give it also sipakli, we can give it also, we can give it connections with the years. So anyways, then we go to the other hand. In the other hand, it has exactly the same process, but now with this cheek. The cheek means like fraction. It means like part of. So the first part of our process goes to the second process, adds on. Chikwase, 6. Chikome, 7. Chikwe, 8. Chiknawi, 9. And Maklakli. So when we have these two hands, we have a complete connection with the beginning process and the developing process. And so this is great, but what if we want to move it? What if we want to transform it more, even more? Then we have to go to our little Kashitl, which is that sacred place where humanity is born. Kashitl means olla. It means like a pot, a sacred pot. And so we want this pot to move, to ground itself, and to go to other places. And in the process, find other ways of giving to others. So we take this whole process, and now we're going to go with Maklakli. Maklakli means the two hands, Maik and Klakli, the two hands that can grasp. So we have Maklakli 1 Se, Maklakli 1 Ome, Maklakli 1 Ye, Maklakli 1 Nawi, Kashtoli. And when I say Kashtoli, it means the Kashitl, the pot, and Olim, because now when we have the next leg, we can move, actually literally move. So we have Kashtoli 1 Se, Kashtoli 1 Ome, Kashtoli 1 Ye, Kashtoli 1 Nawi, and Sempuali. So you can see how Sempual Xochitl has all that flower, and how in our 20 days, we have that process. So this is something that we can apply to anything, and it's wonderful. And any part of our lives can be applied in these 20. And that's why you can think that why our culture is based on 20. So I will continue. And here I just wanted to show you two drawings in the Códice Borbónico, the Códice, the Moshli that's called Borbónico, of Xocothuetzi and Hueymicailhuic. So we have, I mean, Xocotlhuetzi and Huaymicail. Here you see the month of the falling of the fruits. And here is Huaymicail with the cempasúchil, the decorations and the dancing. And so this is a different kind of códice than the information is, again, all the festivities. And the Borbónico Codex is something absolutely amazing. Those of you who have seen the facsimile, I have one, but it's too large to show here. But you can go online and there's facsimiles, just go PDFs, and I'll show you the Borgia one, because it's absolutely wonderful to see it in full life. And this Borbónico Codex has the three calendar systems. It has the Xujmolpili, the Tonalpohualli, and the Tonalpohualli. So look them up. Here's another image of the same. This is Xocotlhuetzi. And this is Huaymicail with the Day of the Dead. And this is before the Day of the Dead. And you can see how, I don't know if you're familiar with the palo encebado, but this is that to this day, it is something that is practiced in Mexico, where you go up this pole that has a lot of grease on it, and it's very difficult to get some gifts. And now they have even like bicycles and clothes and toys, and the kids always go up trying to get these gifts. But it's amazing that it's still with us. And the Huaymicail, of course, we have our celebration to the ancestors. And I was really in awe when I learned from Ocotepec how they invite the spirits. I call it the calling of the spirits, which we reenact with my Day of the Dead UCLA class. Where they would invite the person in front of the ofrenda to come and enjoy. And when I heard it in the town of Ocotepec, and I was invited, I was honored to be in the invocation to the Day of the Dead person in a household. They said almost the same things. They did almost the same things as here. And you can see it in Spanish, but it said pretty much here in this lamina, in this page, right around here, and this is the Talleriano Remensis Códice. It's a very early colonial document. It said all of the people, each in their own home, would go on the rooftop of their houses, and looking towards the north, they would say great prayers invoking the dead, each one that was theirs. And very loudly, they would say, come, hurry, because we are waiting for you. So I was so excited about this. I was thrilled there in front of these words, and I said, we have to connect what we know about the ofrendas and the Day of the Dead with the oral tradition that was preserved with great care by those who took this and made it continue on, like the town of Ocotepec. And so, because we see more and more that the Day of the Dead has become like a party, a celebration, of course, but it's all, sometimes it doesn't have that connection with the way, and this is kind of like if you plug the cord into the wall and you really go to the essence. It is not just a beautiful ofrenda that you do. It is not just the celebration. It is this connection with the pure, wonderful need to be with the ancestors and calling them. So that's why now I include it to all of our Day of the Dead celebrations, and I share it with you. So now the Tonalpohualli, and I just briefly, because we went through all of the 20 signs. This calendar system has 13 sets of 20 days or 20 signs that stay 13 days, that have their power, that have their influence 13 days. And of course, this is a 260-day calendar. Now, all of these calendars meet every 52 years. So it's very interesting to see the whole cycle from the Xujmolpili calendar and the Xiuhpohualli and the Tonalpohualli. They meet, and you can see how they embonan, they come together one with the other. And I love this. Here you can see it in a chart, the way it starts with Sipactli, Ejecatl, Cali, Cotzpalin, Coat, Miquistli, Mazatli, Tochtli, Atli, Squintli, Osomatli, Malinali, and Acatli. So this first trecena, this first period of 13 days, you will see it here. And I love this chart because you can actually see so much information. First of all, half of it is life, half of it is death, represented by a Hecatquetzalcoatl, represented by Mictlantecutli. But in the middle of Quetzalcoatl, in the middle of life, you have the Concha, and that is death. It is a small fraction of death that's within life. And then what will happen, it will go to transform, because death isn't the end of things. Death is just the transition from one to the other. So it goes into transitions. And if you see, there's two calaveras, they're facing each other, but together they make one. And so it goes into death, and calavera, the Mictlantecutli. And so this would be the feminine side, this would be the masculine side, if we wanted to give it some kind, or the red and the blue, or all of the things that we talked about as far as Ometeot. And here again, it goes into its process. It's going to this process right in the middle of each trecena. It's going into its process. And right here, you can't see it because it's not in color, but it's bright red and it's a heart. So we have a living heart within the bone structure. We have a living heart, and that will also go into its process and go back into life. So from death, from life, Quetzalcoatl, to death, Mictlantecutli, it goes back and forth. And this page, as I said, you can download the PDF and you can see it in full color. It starts here. First trecena, Sipactli, and you can count the Tlacuilos, or the artists, wise Intlamatini Tlacuilo artists, gave us this way of learning how to read it. So we have Sipactli, Ejecatl, Cali, Quetzpalin, Coat, Miquistli, Mazatli, Tochtli, Atli, Itzcuintli, Osomatli, Malinali, Acatl, and then tarararan, Ocelot. So now see how we went from this side to this side, and as we're flowing through it right in the middle, this is where this begins to shift to this side. So Ometecutli, Omecihuatl. And then we go all the way here and we find Ocelot, the Ocelot trecena. All of these are going to be related. All of these are the Omecihuatl. And if we're closer if you already have your Tonalpohualli signs and you're closer, like your number 2, Sipatli, you're very close. You're very close to this energy. But as you move away from it, you begin to have the influence of the other side. So your influence will be colored with the ocelot. Remember that I was talking about, this is the first medicine, the very powerful leader, or this and that, you know, everything that this has to be, because it's the beginning. You can imagine how strong it is. But as it goes away, it pulls away, it has more and more the influence of the next trecena. And then when we'll finish with, this would be 1. Now it turns into the leader. And so it's a Ocelot, Cuautli, Coscacuautli, o Olin, Tecpat, Kiawit, Xochitl, Zipactli, Hecatlicali, Cotzpalin, Coatniquistli, Tararan, Mazatli. So here we have Mazatli, the deer. And the same thing happens. It goes to Xochitl, to Acatl. It goes crisscross as you are counting. And when you get to the middle, now the wonderful Tlacuilos gave us another set up here, so we don't have to go from here down to here, down to here. So we start, and then we can go like this. No, you can go like this until we get to the last one. And this is a fantastic page. As I said, you can download the PDF, because the Mexican government in the, I think it was probably the 500 years, they decided to make them free for everyone, and so everyone can see all of the codices. And so it's an important document, because especially for us, that we are trying to make these jewels valuable for everyone today. It'll give us strength. What you all were saying, it gives us a face. It gives us in Xochitl, in Cuicatl. It gives us initially in Xochitl. It gives it a face, a rostro, and a way to ground ourselves wherever we are. It gives us strength, and our children and our family. And so it's a wonderful practice to do the Tonalpohuallis. So now that we have this here, oh, I wanted to share a page of a trecena as we were going back and forth to the trecenas. Let's see a picture. This is a Códice Borgia, the Borgia Codex. And so it starts with Acatl. The leader of this trecena is of Acatl. So it goes Acatl, Ocelot, Cuautli, Coscacuautli, Olin, Tecpat, Kiawetl, Xochitl, Zipactli, Hecatl, Cali, Quetzpalin, Coatl. So it starts with Acatl and ends with Coatl. And so each one will be influenced of these with the message that you have here in the middle. This is another one, but because in the Códice, it goes first on the bottom ones, and then it returns with the top ones. So these are not the sequence. This is not sequential. This one is another one. So what I have been trying to have, not only what I have studied, but what with a lot of intuition, and I totally, as an artist, as someone who studies this, I like to encourage everyone to do it, to say, well, what does this mean, or what does that mean? Just with what you know, begin to develop a códice for yourself. In this case, I studied these images, and I realized that there was always 4 messages. 4 messages. The first message was, I saw that there was always somebody sitting on a very important ikpali. And I say very important because you can see it's painted in red, which is blood. It's power, it's the blood and it has a lot of little circles, and these circles are symbols of what is precious, humanity. So this is very important because it's kind of like the one who is sitting as governing humanity. And so the one who is governing humanity for Acatl is Chalchutlicue, Chalchutlicue. So we know that if you were born in one of these days, Chalchutlicue, which is she with the skirt of jade, and you can see her jade skirt, or you could say all the horizontal waters, not the rain, but all of the rivers, the oceans, the creek, the water that's in the glass, everything that is contained water is Chalchutlicue, Chalchutlicue. And her name, we'll start with the Cue is skirt. Chutlicue is chu is precious because it's blue green. The shu is blue green, and it reminds us of the herbs that come every year. That's why it's called Shiwitl. Year is Shiwitl, and it makes our hearts sing because every time we see the herbs coming on the grass, we know another year has passed and we're here another year. So it's very precious. And shal comes from shali, comes from that means arena, it means sand. So if you think of how glass is made, these emeralds, jades, it's like the precious jade skirt. And so this is the horizontal waters. Now, what do we see here? So the next message, the first message is to see what is the powerful essence of your heart. If you are feeling low, well, go to the river. If you're feeling low in energy or sad or need comfort or need to meditate, go to the water, go to the horizontal water, because there you will connect with your essence. You will connect with that makes you, that gave you at the moment of your birth, gave you power. Okay, so then here you see her very currenty water with a lot of current, and so it's very, very, difficult to cross the river. So after you have identified, then you see what will happen if you use this power. What will happen to you if you use this power? So here we see a little person, a little personita here standing, and he has these arrows that she is giving. It means the power that she has given this person. And so this person is standing upright, even though he's right in the middle of this current, and he's holding the power of Chalchutlicue. So he is strong. That's if you connect with Chalchutlicue, if you're conscious of it. And so he has this moment of great strength. But what happens? And you can see that that's all he has. He doesn't have anything else. So the next question I formulated to myself was, what will happen if you don't? If you ignore your great power, your great sense of power, this Chalchutlicue. And so here, this little person has decided that she wants to go with her little treasure, with everything that she has, cross the river with it. And no, it's so sad because she falls and everything. This means like her penance, her all of the rituals that she's done, everything that she's done, she's gonna fall. So because you only need this essence in order to. And then what happens? Well, her house is dark. Her house is sad. But if you do, your house, your treasure is intact. So what is the essence? Who is sitting on the Akpali? What do you get if you use it? What you don't get if you don't use it, and what is the consequences? So here you have a sad confusion in your household, in your heart, if you don't use it, and if you do, you have a wealth of happiness and joy. So those are kind of the images that the reflections that I made to find in all of them. Of course, you have to know a little bit more about each one of your Trecena leaders. But the great thing is that most of them are sitting on the Ekpali. And now, of course, to combine these is a beautiful exercise. Let's combine, for example, Acatl, which is carrizo, it's the reed, which I said was firm and flexible. It's a leader, it's a teacher, it's a guide, connected with house. If house is, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 house. So 11 gives us one of great service to others. So that's wonderful characteristics of a person. Sorry. And house, the house. What is your house? Is it your school? It is your home? It is your body? So you are the guide of your body. You are the guide, the guiding light of your familia, of your family, or of the school, or of the government, or whatever is your, what you could consider your home, Kali. And so Kali, remember, you have this strength of building. You are building community. You are building your, making your children grow and study and be healthy, or your garden, or your whatever you can apply this home to. And the same thing, you begin to connect everything. You can add in your name Chalchutlique. You can add in your name treasure in my house. The names don't have to be like very simple, like Martha Ramirez. You can add, everything you want on your name. And that's the one that's going to be planted on earth. And then you add it on to your Tonalpohualli and your Molpili. So it's a great exercise. It's a great way of connection. Now, here is a chart, and this is the chart of Arturo Mesa de Gutierrez, who recently has spread in most Mexico. So there's a lot of people who follow this correlation. But I wanted to show you how elegant this situation is. So here, for example, you have all of the Tonalpohualli, Atlacawalo, all the way to Itzcali. And I forgot to say the Nemontemi. Nemontemi are the 5 days after Ixcali that that complete, that's what they're called, the ones who complete the year, because we need 5.25 days to complete the veintena, to complete the year. It's 35.25 days. And the Tonalpohualli, there are 20 signs that are 13 days. So here you can see this page is for Cali, Tochli, and Acatl years. This page is for Tecpatl. So here, the difference is that this one starts in March 12th and this one starts in March 11th. But you can see the Atlacawalo, which is the first Tonalpohualli, the first Tonalpohualli veintena. And here is the veintena. Here is the 20-day period from Zipacli to Xochitl. And so, and here it gives the dates. So if, and each each year it will have a different correlation. So, but you can see more or less here the sign that you would have, but depending on the year that you were born, it would be the number of coat. Say, for example, in 1 year, it would be March 12th, Sipacti. But in another year, one of the Tochtiacatl years, it might be 7 or 8 or 12 or 13. That is the difference. And for those of you who want to stay on and do this work, it takes a little time, so we can do it in the second part of our little training. But you can see how it goes from March 12 all the way to March 31st. This is one complete trecena, a veintena, sorry. And this, it starts with April, and it goes all the way to the 30th of April. And here you see it belongs to Itzcuintli, and so forth. So these are veintenas, and over here is the Tecpatl. But this is where you can see how they connect. Because remember, each one of these are 20 days. 20 days. And so here, remember it started with March, and over here, the beginning, the spring. Then we have like the summer months here, August. Then we have the fall here. Then we have the winter months. And then we have, again, the spring. And the Nemontemi days, they will be shifting. If you were born in any of these days, they will be shifting. They will be going at different dates for the numbers. And it seems complicated, but once you begin to work it, it is pretty much understandable. And well, right now I just want to take a moment to thank La Solteo for this topialisli. Topialisli means that which we care for, that is ours. So it's our legacy that we that we have been able to, for me to teach it to you and for you to receive it, and with that same spirit to give to others. And so this understanding, our energy is powerful. It is very, very powerful, and it has transformed so many people that has given them guidance. And I've had so many examples of people that were that didn't know why, but they had this natural urge to heal. And once they knew their Tonalpohualli, they began to study medicine and study the herbs, and they transformed their lives because it came easy to them. Even though they were in their older years, they were able to do it. So it's wonderful if you're young, if you're at the middle of your life or at the end of your life. It's wonderful. And here again, I want to show you the image. This is an image I painted with in a great project of Judy Baca. I don't know if you're aware of Judy Baca. She's a wonderful muralist whom I've had a good friend with and have assisted in many of her murals. So right now I mentioned this because it's the World Wall. It's at the MoCA Museum until February, and this is in Los Angeles, of course. But here I was able to, with a partner, Pati Quijano, we call it La Solteo, the creative force of the unwoven. That's the name of our piece. It's a vision of the future of Mexico without fear. And this is just a little tiny fragment of it. But I loved it that it is, you can see it very clearly. And that's my mission. My mission I've discovered, of course, it's through art and through teaching that I thrive, that I use my Tonalpohualli, my Xujpawali, my Xujmolpili strength. And here you have a new being coming in to be transformed. And Tlazolteotl is taking this energy, and she has her skirt, which is not a skirt, it's a mashli, it's a masculine garment. So she's Ometeotl, giving birth with a masculine garment. And her face is red, is full of life, whereas she's shedding her yellow skin. And this image, this color, the yellow, remember it has to do with transformation. So just like in the before the rains, like, well, in Mexico, it's like March and February, everything is yellow. The whole countryside is yellow because it's drying up and waiting for those first rains. But this is the moment of birth, of childbirth, when parts of you is being shed in order for the new life to be pushed out, to be given. And what happens? And what happens to her is that she gives birth to, this is a part of a page of the Códice Borbónico, and gives birth of another little Tlazolteotl. So our mission in life is to become this transformer, this regenerator of life. And here she's holding a little rope, a little mecatl, and in the form of an olin, in the form of movement. So she is transforming with the movement of regeneration. And so she has her tools, which are, she's a weaver, and she has all of this strength. She also, she regenerates because she eats everything that nobody else wants. And she, that's why they would call her the eater of filth. But of course, that was a concept of the Spaniards. And really it was regeneration. She would eat what was not nutritious for others. And so she's by regenerating, by giving birth, and she, with a lot of willpower, I put little colibri here with Celine here, she is giving birth to new life. So Tlazocamati, everyone. And I want to now show you what we're going to be doing in the next moment. I don't know if you want to do a little pause here, Sara? Or
Yes, I think this is a good time to take, let's take a 5-minute break.
5-minute break?
Well, let's do about 7-minute break. We'll, we're gonna put some music on, but please come back, at the time, because the next section is about teaching you how to do yours and read yours. And anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun. So yeah, let's do that, Maestra. This was so exciting. Thank you.
I'll start my share right there.
All right.
Okay, thank you. I hope you're enjoying it, everyone.
Yes.
I think it's
Claro
water.
que sí. Gracias. Okay.
Okay, maestra.
Okay, so we're going to go back to share my screen here.
And let us know, maestra, when you want us to highlight the phone.
Okay, so that's going to be after this.
Perfect.
Okay, so I just want to put this show back on. So I just want to share this this idea of toca, the word toca. Toca, ka, of course, is Kali, house, home, our body, ourselves, and to is our toca. And it's very interesting how it is used as the root of these three main activities of humanity. Here you have, when you say this action of burying someone, I bury, you say, ni te toca. If I say, I name myself, ni no toca. And if I plant something, I say, ni tla toca. So it all conveys an action of putting something on the ground. And that's, you can see here how the person that died is wrapped up in a petate, and with all of its tools and his food for the long journey of going through the 9 levels of Mictlan to the place of rest, and then come back on the day of the dead. And here we have the mother, or the Tonalpohualli, and the Tonalpohualli showing this chart of the birth of this baby, and giving it a sense of what this life is going to be. And here you have those cuatro seis. It has 10. Tochli is his Tonalpohualli or Tonalpohualli. And so he's giving her an understanding of what his life will be like, or her life. And here you see an image of someone planting a seed, in order to cultivate and grow. So these actions somehow come together with that toca, our house, our body, our home. And I wanted to add it because if you want to say ni toca or ni no toca, my name is, and then you can add on your calendar sign. So ni no toca Tochtli, or ni no toca Acatl, or ni no toca Toch Acatzin. If you add the sin particle, it's someone who is respected. Human beings are respected. So that's the way you can say your name. You can say what my name is. And so here we're just going to go briefly of how to find your name. First of all, you look at the next chart with the years. If you were born before March, it's March 6th, you look for the previous year. And then you write down your Tlalpili sign. Then you write your year number and sign. And then you write the characteristics of the Tlalpili sign and of the number and Shiwit of year sign. So this is something that you might want to do if you're waiting to have your name given or planted, and for yourself, right? For yourself. So here is these 4 basic ones are the Tlalpili. Remember in the Shikmolpili explanation, these are groups of 13. 13 years. And they go in a sequence, Tochliacatl, Tecpatcali, Tochliacatl, Tecpacali, Tochliacatl. So they will all go in that sequence. And you can see that I have some of the characteristics of Tochli rabbit, creative and unpredictable, that we went through. The Acatl, the guiding light for all, the Tecpatl, the one that searches for truth, and the Cali, the one who protects. So if we have, you have one of these, as if you're in one of these main rectangles, then you're this Tlalpili sign. So that's the major one, the big one. And then you can see I put 1, 2, 3 columns of different years in case you wanted to check and see what year it was when, you know, in the 1800s, the revolution of Mexico or anything over here. But pretty much here this column starts with 1974, and or you can go to earlier this year, 1922. And then once you locate that, and remember, it has to be after March 6th, or pretty much after March 11th, because the 6th is the Nemontemi. Those days of the Nemontemi years that attach. Now, what happens with these Nemontemi years if you're born in one of these days? Because they would say that every year, everybody would put out their fires and burn everything, throw away, break their pots, everything, and don't do anything. So this is why you would say why, because each one of the cardinal, each one of the Tochli, Acatl, Tecpat, and Cani years represent a cardinal point. So this is very, very important. According to which one of your signs you are connected with a cardinal point. And so these 5 days are needed to go from the influence of one and pass on to the influence of another. So say we have one Tochli, before Tochli is Cali. So in this Nemontemi day, if you were born in one of these days, you would be coming from the influence of Cali, which is influenced by the West, to the influence of the South, as you go into that moment. And so until the new year began, then we had the influence of the South. But in the middle, it was in the middle. And before ancient times, this was very, very important because all of the society was organized in these years. And when they would begin a new pyramid, when they would go out to war, when they would do anything important, like going out on a mission to find new marketplaces or do anything. So that's why Nemontemi, even if it seems like it's something bad, but it isn't. It's really a moment of transformation, of feeling the new energy. And that's why you're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to do any real activity during those days, so that you can say goodbye to the influence of the previous year and welcome the new influence. So now that you found your sign, say for example, Tecpatl. Here you, Chicome Tecpatl. So this is the number of your year, and this is the sign of your year. And so find your year first. You find your year, and then you look at the number next to it, and so. The sign next to the number is your sign, your year sign. So I was going to say like 7 Tecpatl, you would look up everything that you know about 7 in the ancient times, and Tecpatl, the flint, in everything, all the characteristics. And then you think of the big picture, you think of your Tlalpili sign. So that's the way you would find your name in your sign in the Xuchmolpili calendar. And these are some of the influences that we have said already, but I'll repeat. The Acatl, Carrizo, the region of the east, Tlahuizcampa, the region of light, the color red. The colors sometimes change in different versions, but this is one of the most accepted. Red because it's the sunrise, right? And these are, it's a reed that is bound by, like I say, every time we see like a bundle of something, it has to do with a process that is beginning or ending. So in this case, the night is ending and the beginning of a new day. It stands for leadership, and firm and flexible, and understanding. And all of that, you can find metaphors to that in order to make your name. You can be the teacher, you can be the light, the guide. All of this is very important in Acatl sign. Cali, the same. We have the west, Cihuatlampa, the region of the feminine, the color, white, and some of the characteristics. It's a house and everything of a metaphor, the earth, the family, your place of work, whatever that house represents for you. And it protects the energy of protection, of building. It gives stability to your family, to your world. And since it's a builder, it really focuses on strong principles. It really has a strong foundation, and which is great because it doesn't go wild everywhere. Then we have Mictlampa, which is Tecpatl, the obsidian knife that investigates, reflects, speaks the truth, is a teacher as well, a teacher because it has these 2 points that I was saying. One that has looked and gone deeply into whatever matter they're studying or they're doing or fulfilling. And the other side is the reflection of that quest, the reflection of that hardship that you went through. And so you can be a really good speaker on all that process that you went through. So it's the region of rest and transformation. It's the color black, the region of the ancestors, Mictlampa. And Tochtli, Huitzlampa, the south, the region of the creative willpower, the color blue. And so the rabbit is creative, it's unpredictable, it's passionate, it multiplies everywhere, all of its influence. And it's also very, very creative. So it could be the arts, it could be multiplying things like creating, someone who creates beautiful tables, or one creates beautiful gardens. So it's all about creative and also unpredictable, someone who you never think you really know, because sometimes it is just like that. Sometimes it'll do one thing or the other. And it's all about survival. Just when you have any questions about the meaning or what you can find as a metaphor for your name, just think about the image you're seeing. Think about the rabbit and study the rabbit. And sometimes someone who is like a biologist knows more. Reach out to them and say, hey, what are the strange or the special aspects about Tochti, about rabbit? And you will find great definitions of for your name. To all of this is with the intention of finding a great name for you, for yourself. And the numbers, of course, the numbers are so important here. Let's say number 1, the leader intensifies the traits of the sign. So it's very much more powerful, as I said, in the beginning of the trecena or than at the end. So the number 1, and we're talking about the Tonalpohualli. The Tonalpohualli, because it has 13, but also you can put it also in the other signs too. So here we have 1, the leader, 2, objective and fair, complementary because there's 2, it's ometeot, it's like a little ometeot in itself, collaborative and creative, artistic, analytic, studious, reflects between causes and effects because it has 2 sets of duality. So it's constantly checking to see what is happening. Number 5, recycles old into new, regenerates and gives life. This is like what I was talking about, plasolteo, recycles the old into the new and gives life. 6 is strong intuition, evaluates, meditates. So 6 is more of a like a passionate moment of having the strong feeling that something is going to happen. You know, it's just meditating. Number 7, because I put it in the middle, is right smack in the middle of the 13 numbers. And so it will focus a lot in transformation, in structures and mythologies and practical things of constructing something with a great process and with instructions and then transforming it. So it's like very, I want to say creative in that nature, that it will find something, give it structure. Number 8 was constantly experimenting and trying new things. And this is linked to Tlaloc, this number. So each one is linked to a, there's so many different characteristics that you will find in your charts if you can look at them, your Amoshti. So here, so it's like this brand new things that is like shocking, like the storm with the lightning and the rain. And so it's constantly experimenting and trying new things, even though they're sometimes scary, but trying things always. The 9 is more mystical and spiritual. And it's the night. It's like the jaguar spirit. It is very, we know the 9, the novenarias, for example, the 9 rosaries that are said during the Day of the Dead and other religious traditions. And so they are connected to that spirituality, the 9. The 10 is traditional and in thought and action. It's kind of like the person who really feel that before were all the truths, and so they go back to the ancestors, they go back to the Tonalpohualli, they go back to understanding the history of how it was done and how the great-great-great-grandfathers lived, or the great-grandmothers, or how they cooked tamales, or how they did this, because they feel that tradition is very, very important. 11 is always service. It's desire to help everyone, desire to give of their energy to help make this a better world. So it's a very, very focused, and it's these three last, or the highest numbers, are all already considered part of this process of ometeo, when one side is going to convert into the other. So that's why you give yourself of your energy to others. Yeah. Of course, the 12 will be even more exaggerated. You stand for a cause, and you can give your life for a cause. That's a Cesar Chavez kind of person who would, fast and give all his energy for a cause to make this a better world. And then when you get to 13, that's it. This is the moment of you have reached your balance, you have reached this harmonious moment, and you're ready to leave to another cycle of number 1. But the 13 is one who helps harmonize others and is pretty much balanced and finds ways of balancing the circle, of balancing the familia. It is that harmony that we all strive for. So these days, in you follow calendar systems, these days or these years are one of focusing on trying to be balanced and harmonious. And remember the names of the numbers so that you can add them on to your to your name. Besides the characteristics of the 4 cardinal points and all of that, there is one that I would like to refer to, which is Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca, where Quetzalcoatl is everything that we see and understand. Tezcatlipoca is the ancient memory, what we don't see. It's that spirit that we have, that feminine spirit within us, the intuition. And so there's this marvelous image of Tezcatlipoca with all of the signs on it. And so I wanted to also address some of the places that you can see Tochtli-Acatl-Tecpatkali. So here you see it on his banner, that his chest that he wears. It's like this truth that is reflected from the heart. Acatl here, it's in his eye, so it radiates light. It gives a clear perspective of things. So you can see that that's like the secret message of Tezcatlipoca that nobody sees. The Kali, strong foundation. So it's on this pelvic area where we have the strong connection. Remember, we talked about the numbers. That's where we have the fountain of creativity, and that's where we can move. And in fact, the glyph for that area, the butt area, is a little butt. So you can see it in the toponymia, that Kali is pretty much that sacred space of creativity. It has strong foundations and principles, of course. And Tochtli is in his banner, and it's a smoky mirror inside. And so this very special icon or description of Tezcatlipoca is that that's why we say ancient memory, because it's a mirror that you're looking into it, but it's fuzzy, it's dark, you can't really see it. That's because it's smoky. And that's like memory. If you try to remember something way back when, you can see it you can see what happened, but it's a little bit fuzzy. So that ancient memory you have that strong Tochtli connection. And it's the wisdom, it's always searching the ancient memory, the wisdom you have. So here are, those are kind of the secrets of all of the signs. And you can find also your Tonalpohualli sign here and see how Ocelot links here to the right or the left leg, Zipacli, the right leg. You can see other signs here. The flower, the voice, the beauty of the voice, the speech. And so all of these are like secret messages from what we don't see, which is Tezcatlipoca, from the ancient memory. And so now what you do is you combine your Tlalpili sign with your year sign, and you add sin to it at the end. So this is the first, this is what we're going to do. So we have, the sin means respected. So you put, we're not going to put in the number unless you want to, but so we start with a big one. And since now it is read from right to left instead of from left to right, we put the big sign, sorry, the Tlalpili sign first and the year sign after. And now what you do is you're going to put them together and you're going to add a sin to it. So you drop the end, and it would be Toch Cal Sin, the respected house of rabbit, or the respected protector of creativity, I put here. But you can create your own way of saying. And if, in case you have the same year in Tlalpili, you can repeat it like Toch Toch Sin, the respected rabbit that creates or that multiplies, whatever is the metaphor that mainly speaks to you. So remember, you take the end off of your year of the word and you add sin to it. So it's Toch Cal Sin. Here for the others, for example, you have Tochli and Tochli Tlalpili Cali house. So it would be Toch Cal Sin, the respected house of rabbit. If it's an Acatl year and an Acatl Tlalpili and a Tecpat year, you would be Acat Tecpat Sin, a respected flint of reed and its metaphor, right? Then if it's a Tlalpili Cali and year Acatl, it would be Cala Catsin. Cala Catsin. Then Tecpat, Tlalpili and Tochli year, Tecpat Toch Sin. And then you could find your symbolic name. So remember, just take off the first part, the ending, and then add sin to it. Now, just one other, like for example, in this case, you would say Ninotoka, that means my name is Cal Tecpat Sin, respected spark of truth on earth. And see how I put the name Cal Tecpat Sin. And you will read it backwards. You read it from right to left. Respected spark, that refers to Tecpat. And on earth, because for me, this one, Kali, is the earth. Respected spark of truth on earth. But there's a million ways that this might be more meaningful to you. And here, one last thing that I want to do and that you can practice here is how you would draw your glyph. This is from the Borgia Codex. And here you can see the difference between what is year 3 house, and this is water 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a day sign because it has 9 in it. Here's another day sign of Coatl, snake. Here you see this is a Tecpat year, 2 years, and his is a Sipacli day. So something happened, or it might be like a mystical or a ceremony ritual day that they have on this year. And so they want to mark it, and you can see it on the Borgia Codex. And you can have, like, if you want to put your day sign, if you already have your day, Tonalpohualli sign, next to your year sign here. And if you want to put your Tlalpili, you can also, I've seen it that you could be in another square, another little rectangle, and you just put it by itself. You know, so if you have a Tlalpili here, and you'll know which one it is because it was, if this is 3, you would just go back to the 1. Here it's 2, you would go back to the 1. Tochli Acatl Tecpatkali. So Tochli Acatl, this would be Acatl, because you have 2, you have number 2, Tecpatl. So it would be Acatl Tecpatl. Acatl would be the Tlalpili. Remember, it's the number 1. So you would write here Tlalpili. And so why do I put this? Because I want you to recognize the sign, the symbol, and hopefully you could all try to do this work and add on your Tlalpili. You could put your Tlalpili sign here just by itself, your year sign here, and if you have your Tonalpohualli here. And you just have to look for the symbols on the internet someplace if you have them already. And thank you very much. What do you think? Are you ready to do it?
Do it.
Okay, I don't know how we're doing with time, but I am ready and to help anyone.
Did you want your phone to be highlighted still?
Oh, yes, yes, so that we can draw here and I
Uh-huh.
can show the signs.
Okay, so let me. Okay. And
I wanted everybody to observe this one.
okay.
Is everybody observing this one and not me
Yes.
right now?
We're seeing both actually.
Okay, well,
But
but that's okay. Here it's I did this. If you have a pencil, this is the way I did it. So you can see this is 2 Tecpatl. We do what is before the Tecpatl. So we make like a little upside down V. If you want to do it with me right now. Then right here about the middle page, we make 2 parallel lines, one like this and one like this. A little awkward here, but it's coming out. That's why we want to do it with pencil, just in case. Then, how is everybody doing it? Everybody doing it?
Yeah.
And then we go a little bolita, like little circle. And on this 2. So there we have our sun ray, a ray that has to do You know, it can be anything, but it's a array. And then we lock it in. Then we create it into a glyph. So it's going to be make a U here, another U here. And give it double line so it's easier to color in. Then we connect these. Sometimes one is in front and one is in the back. Sometimes they're double. But let's say, let's put one in the front, and then we're going to just like this. It means that it's wrapped around it, right? And sometimes you also have some little cordones, like little, it's wrapped around. So it's like tied and a knot in the back there or in the front. And that's a year, the symbol for a year in the Borgia Codex. And then you put in your sign. In this one, I put the Tecpat sign and number. And now I will put Touchly. Let's do a Touchly. Let's put a Touchly sign. So we're just going to put it in front of it. So I'm going to do a little rabbit here. And then we'll erase, you know, what is overlapping. And its little ears. We can erase everything that is not needed here. Because even though we can't see it, we know it's there. Put his little eye. Then we would color it in and then put his little marks. And then you can put your number, but not whatever number it is. Say it's number 3. And we can connect it if we want. There's a lot of freedom, and you don't have to put anything exactly like mine. You can do. And if you want to add your Tlalpili symbol, you could put it here, or say your Tecpat or whatever it would be. Kali, Kali, it would be Kali, so you could put a little house. just what I do is I just repeat Tochli Acatl Tecpatkali, and I go, oh yeah, Tochli Acatl, Tochli Acatl. Right beyond. Okay, and also you can add your name if you have, I mean, you have your Tonalpohualli sign. You can add it here. Now the day signs usually have circles like this. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. Let's say Olin. Just an example.
Mhm.
And then you can put your name. So that's really up to you with your creativity, what you want to do. And I wanted to show you if I can. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Are you seeing that?
It's
No.
the rabbit. The year rabbit. Your screen, not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. Do I have to close this one?
Maybe we could switch. Well, no.
Share. Oh
You
yeah.
can still see your
Share.
face. Okay. Good.
I just wanted to give you an idea of. Oh, I have to close this one. Are you seeing this, Barjacotis?
Yes.
So this is what I said, that you just go to the internet and you can see this facsimile of the Borgia Codex. Of course, it's how it is right now, not that wonderful Giselle one that they reconstructed all the colors, but you can see all of the signs here. These are all the different parts of the Borgia Codex with all of their, because you can get really fancy if you're an artist and put all of their guides and all their influences, because there's just so much to learn about this. But here you have it all, so you can see here the guiding the midwives, and their, each group of signs have different midwives that nurture them. La solteo, Mitanticutli, Chalchitlicli.
I like the marriage one. The windows.
Right, the marriage. And okay.
Trecenas. So there'll be 20 of those of the trecena.
There's 20 trecenas, the 4 cardinal regions. Here we have one. There's so many glyphs to inspire you. Here you can see, here you can see the years. See, for example, Kali, 1 Kali. And this is the day 1 Osomatli of the year 1 Kali. And so in this one, you can see, and just take a look for a minute, these 4, this year, there was good crops. You can see all the little happy faces, the little happy corn. There's a lot of rains. Over here, we had a lot of pests. And this year, it says 1 Tecpatl. It was a bad year because ate up all those bad rains. Here it was dry, and they also didn't have very good crops. And over here, it seems like some of them were good because it had a little happy face, more or less. It's all about the interpretation is very important. But you can see as far as we know, this is a year because it's a year sign, and we know this is a day because it's a day sign, even though they're both ones. And it's funny that they would be both ones and it's happy here.
Mm-hmm.
There's another. So remember that these are different calendar systems together. These are, but it's amazing in case that you really want to go into the iconography of these times, just sit and look at them. They're absolutely extraordinary.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And you can imagine the tlacuilos, the men and women who painted these, and you can actually see that have a style. It's not just one painter, it's generations and generations of painters, and they learn how to paint. It's like writing the alphabet that we know of. You know, the A's might be a little different, but everybody makes an A in the same way, a capital A. So everybody, this is how they would teach the tlacuilos. Here's the page that I was referring to with all the colors. Wanted you to see it in brilliant colors. So here we have these beautiful colors, how the red, how the bone structure goes into and then becomes the depth into little cempasúchil. And here we go, the red heart. These are the marriage.
Yes.
The marriages, what potential do they have? So they have, actually, if you do the Tonalpohualli, one person and the other person, and this is the result. You can see a really happy sun, dark. And it's not that dark is bad and sun is good, it's just that it's different energy. So these are all the Dresen, all the 13 in the 27 signs. And you can try to kind of guide yourself by what I did. See, find which is the strength of your symbol, of your trecena, and what will happen if you do use it, and what will happen if you don't use it, and what would be the possibilities there. Here's the one that we saw, the Chalchitlique Acatl, read. This is also interesting because you have each, this is one that you could include, is each number from 1 to 13 has a flying ally. Most of them are birds, but the 7 is a butterfly. So this is a guacamaya. These are hummingbirds, blue and green hummingbirds. They each have one. And this is a ritual to the moon. Here's the moon. In our full moon day, we get to see this beautiful glyph of the moon. And you see the rabbit on the moon because of that myth that has been told and retold in many different ways. In many different places in the world, there is some kind of connection between the rabbit and the moon. And the first one that we understand is how the moon influences all fertility, all of the babies that are born. It's a very amazing connection. So here is a ritual to the moon on the full moon day. 4 directions. Anyways, this is what I wanted to show you before I left. So it's very easy. All you just look for Códice Borgia and it'll come up. Facsimile. Códice Borgia facsimile.
Facsimile. Okay. Beautiful.
Okay.
Time for questions. People had a couple questions before we move into the
Yes.
Is this okay?
Sure.
I don't know if people want to do, are we good for a break? I think we're doing good, right? Everybody doing okay? Okay, cool. So any questions, if you want to raise your hand or write them down in the chat. This might be a good time. And what we want to know is, how do you put the puzzle together? Because that's how I see it, ¿verdad? Como un rompecabezas, it's this puzzle of so much information. And then how would you, look at your ahijado, your grandbabies, and or a student that we work with, ¿verdad? Look at it. And so we're headed in that direction, everybody.
Exactly.
Okay, anybody have any questions or comentarios? Dice Celia Tlazocamati, such a beautiful space. She's really grateful. Thank you, Maestra.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the handout link. So that way, if you want to let everybody know to use the handout link at all, the handouts that you sent us, they have it. All right, I think let's keep going. No comments, no questions, Todavía.
So for the name correlations, that's where we're going next, right, Maestra?
Well, I thought we were going to do the personal, individual.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for that, what we've come up, just because we know that the Tonalpohualli is such a powerful tool, and I learned this from Maestra Sara, who kind of says like it's really like this is such a powerful tool that you can't like we have to treat it with reverence and with respect, and so what we were thinking, the three of us, was that your name correlations would be done in private, like one-on-one with Maestra Marta, because like think about it in this way, like if anyone has this information, not only are they going to know your strengths and your gifts, but they're going to know how to like maybe pinpoint some challenges or weaknesses, right? Like it can be used to cause harm. And so what we want to do is make sure that we treat it with reverence, that we honor folks Tonalpohualli in such a way so that like we don't make anyone feel vulnerable. So what we will do is we'll put Maestra in a breakout group, and we'll have folks go in there. And so I'll be doing the tech on my end, so I'll be supporting with that. And then the rest of us who will get our name correlations are just gonna remain in the big breakout group in the this sala, right? So we'll stay here and we'll get to convivir and maybe build more connections and so forth. So does that feel good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
I know Maestra was also going to give us an example, ¿verdad? How the practice is done, and so we'll use a sample birthday and anyway, we're just waiting for any questions or comments. But no, I think we're good, Maestra. Okay.
Okay, let's do a sample one.
Perfect.
I was just putting a little, es que me molesta, putting some black into my little line. But let's do that. And so we're going to do the Xuchmolpili, right? Not the Tonalpohualli, the Xiwi.
Okay.
Because it'll take a long time. So if we begin by finding our Xuxmalpili. Remember that we have 4 signs. I don't have the handout with me, but weird. So you want to highlight this one?
Would you like your hands to be okay? I'll highlight that one. Okay.
Okay, so here we have our Tlalpili. My Tlalpili is, and my Shiwit is, and my calendar name is. So this is going to be what we're going to end up with. So we have the first information, which is, of course, the 4 cardinal points, the 4 regions. And then we're going to find one. Let's say, for example, I'll start with, let's say, let's follow the 7th Tikpat. We're going to say, okay, I was born in 1980 after March. And so you just find your number here. And then you would say you have a number and you have a sign besides this one. This is your Tlalpili. Tlalpili. It's always going to be the first one, the first one. And this is Se. If you were born in this year, you would be Se, number 1, one touch. So your sign would be 7. It has a number next to it, and Tecpatl. This is your year sign. This is your year sign. This is your Tlalpili sign. So here now you can say, my Tlalpili is, and here we have, Tochtli. And my Shiwitl, or my year sign, is 7 Tecpat. Okay, so now we have the information that we need, right? The information. Now we just go on to the second part, which is, so here I'm going to put it in. My Tlalpili is Tochtli, and my year is 7 Tecpat. So remember, we're going to start with the large one, and then we're going to follow with the second one. So we have, let's put it in pencil until we find what we want. So we put Tecpat, Tecpat. What we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the end. We're going to eliminate the end. So we're just going to say Tecpa. Flint, it's flint. Then we're going to put the big one, which is the Tlalpili. So you have Tochtli, and we're going to eliminate the end too, Toch. And now we're going to add at the end, Tsin. So it would be Toch plus Tecpa plus Tsin. Okay, so put it like this. Toch Tochtecpatsin. Tochtecpatsin. Ninotoka Tochtecpatsin. And so what does that mean? So it would be, because remember, we read it in this way. We read it this way. So now literally it's the respected flint of rabbit. This would be the literal meaning, the respected flint of rabbit. But that can turn into so many different things. We leave respected, then what do you like for flint? Truth sayer, teacher, sculptor, let's say sculptor. Sculptor of truth. You can say, it can be a paragraph, it doesn't have to be small. Truth. And now we add the South, the rabbit, the creative, the unpredictable, the respected sculptor of truth. Can be like that creates. That's one. Respected truth of creativity.
Mhm.
And so forth. You just find what, if you want to make it long and flowery, that's wonderful. If you want to be it short, so you can say it. In Nahuatl, it would be short. Ninotoka or nitoka tochtecpatsin.
Mhm. It's beautiful.
What do you think? Any comments?
Oh, I love it.
Try to do it, everyone. And you can put it in the chat and see what names you find. We don't have too much time left, but I'd like to, honor the people who I'm going to be seeing, but this is just a little sample. It can be as wonderful as you want it to. It can be a book. I was going to say it could be a paragraph, but it could be a story. It could be everything. If you begin to work with your Tonalpohualli, your Xuchpohualli, and this is just your Xuchmolpili name, you would add the other one too, in the same manner. You would add, the next would be your Tonalpohualli with just the roots of the name, and then at the end put sin. That's respected. Respect. So if you have your Tonalpohualli, like, Omeo Somatli, you would add, and you always go from the left to the right, so it would have to be the respected Osomatli of, that is the sculptor of life, or whatever.
It just keeps being added on. It gets
just be added on.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, wonderful.
And you can put the numbers as well. If the number means to you, like say is the leader, if you want to put the number 3 is creative too, the creator. So look at all the characteristics of the numbers, of the signs, and find a way to make it beautiful and strong for you. It's especially for you, and with great respect. And I thank you all for such a wonderful experience. I really have enjoyed it so far. Thank you, Sarita and Jose and everyone.
Oh, thank you, Maestra. I have to turn off my camera because I have to get really close to look, but oh, un aplauso, everybody, un aplauso para la maestra. Qué rico, qué hermoso. You know, I'm walking away with more questions. You know, I want to know more, and that's a good feeling for me. And I also know that, you know, paciencia, you know, especially with cultura, is really important. We want everything right now, and then we don't appreciate it, ¿verdad? So I think it's been delivered to us in such a sabroso way, you know, with a lot of sazón. And so I'm very, very happy, Maestra. Mhm.
I know there's a question on the chat. So Luisana asked, is it okay to combine the Tonalpohualli energies with the Xiomobili, especially when it comes to determining our name?
Yes, of course. And just remember that it goes from left to right, and you go with the small parts, adding on to the big parts, because the big one is like the big mother sign, you know, the big ancestor sign. That's one of the most important. But then you start, and you can even put your, you know, the Xiomobili sign. If you want to make it fit there somewhere, you know, the year, the month, you know, one of the 18 months that you were born, and you can add something. So, but make it in the order from the smallest to the largest influence.
Mhm. Maestra, because we won't have enough time for everyone, if someone wants to get hold of you, if they want, you know, to have a session with you, are you open to that? Or what kind of contact information can we share with anyone?
You can give them my email, and I'll try to fit it in somewhere. It's hard, especially not until after the Day of the Dead. I'll be like so booked and so different. I did this because of you, and because I really appreciate this, and I haven't done the Tonalpohualli workshop in a couple of years. So I said, it's the thing to do because it is important. And I'm so surprised in one, you know, in awe that you have advanced so much, Sara, with all of your teachings and everybody else that works it. Because it's very important to pass this on, to keep it. It is our topialisli. It is what we were meant to keep and enjoy and pass on. So yes, give them my email, and I will try to schedule something with them.
Fantastic. Thank you. So that way everybody may have a chance. Gracias. Pati, do we have
Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. Right. And then